Alright, and we're back. So, Final Fantasy VIII. Alright, I kinda need this back. Right. So, Final Fantasy VIII. When I first played it, I thought it was a very, very good game too. Of course, years later now, that I think about it, it's not that great of a game either. Now don't yell at me. It's still a decent game. It's not the best game ever to me, okay? It's just an opinion. Now, the story was great up for the first disc. I loved how you become this mercenary, going around places, doing stuff, you know, that kind of stuff. Missions. It was mission based, pretty much. And then you get to the end of disc 1, and it's like, holy crap, did he really die? Then you get to disc 2, and it's like, oh, okay. And once you get through disc 2, I mean, the story is still okay in disc 2, but once you get near the end of disc 2 up to Trobia Garden, then it's like, what? This doesn't even make any sense anymore. Like, you have, how many people were there? There was Squall, Cell, Sophie, Quistis, Irving. 6 people that somehow all ended up together out of, like, who knows how many people. That's kind of hard to think that would happen. I guess it's possible, but, you know. And I'm like, okay, play the game more. But once you get disc 3, that's where I think the story really drops. I mean, suddenly it's all about Squall and Rinoa, and nobody else ever matters ever for the rest of the game, pretty much. They get like no screen time compared to those two. And I can understand what they were trying to do, but really it's like, And really, I don't think Squall would just change like that immediately. Or like, right on the spot, like, going from, I don't really care, leave me alone, to, man, I really like this girl, I want to save this girl. That's all I can think about, is this girl. It's like, really? You're gonna do a 180 all of a sudden? Why? Come on. Like that, Now, the battles, the fights were kind of hard the first few times, because I didn't know what I was doing with the junction system. I don't think anyone knows what they were doing with it the first time they played. Who knows? Maybe they did. Maybe there's wizards that work their own magic in their games. I don't know. But the junction system is horrible. It's very, very unbalanced. I think it's worse in 8 than in 7. Because, again, if you don't know what you're doing, it's kind of hard to know what you're doing. That makes perfect sense. But once you know what does what, it's like, hey, before I go, or, is it before? No, it's after you get Siren. It's like, hey, I'm gonna learn, Life Magic Refine. Oh look, all of these tents, I'm gonna earn them all at Kiraga at the start of the game. That's not broken at all. Having 3,000, 4,000 HP at the start of the game. Not at all. And then, you get some of these abilities like elemental defense and status defense, and it's like, hey, put on all of this stuff, you're never gonna die, ever. Like, okay. And again, status effects, you really don't need them. You really don't need them. Man, my English is off. But I guess it's more useful in 8 than in 7 because if you equip 100 sleep your status attack, then it has like 100% almost on like anything not immune to it. So yes, it's. And again, in 7 you had added effect, which is kind of the same thing, except you didn't have to control magic after magic. Oh god. That was the worst thing about Junction Systems in there. Like, hey, I'm gonna draw magic. 10 minutes later, I'm still drawing magic. Yep. And then you learn all about the card game. Triple Triad breaks the game very easily. Especially when you figure out what gives what, and it's like, hey, I'm on disc 1, I'm gonna have 100 waters, 100 players, 100 hoolies. It gets ridiculous. And one of the things that I don't get what they were thinking when they did this was some tutorials. Like, at the start of the game, it gives you a tutorial on, like, what was it, basically all the GFs and Junction. Then you get this to Balam Garden, and suddenly you get to this, oil place thing underneath the garden. And Squall's like, hey, maybe I should have a tutorial about elemental attack Junction. Gee, thank you, Squall, for telling us a disc later when we have these things like near the start of the game. It boggles my mind why they would do that there, of all places. And even better, when on Disc 3, when you're at the Great Salt Lake area, fighting the boss, and Squall's like, an undead, maybe healing magic will hurt it. See ya, thank you, wizard? I mean, I don't know, why would you put that on the 3rd disc? Of all places in the game, you put halfway past, I don't know, it's just weird. And, like I said in the 7 review, 8 does a better job of, making the characters a bit more different. Well, not really. The only difference with characters is their, limit breaks. Again, speaking of limit breaks, that is probably another, unbalanced part of the game. Yes, leaving your character at critical health is, very risky, but when you do it with someone like Squall, and or Cell's a prime example, because you can loop his limit for like freaking forever. It's like, okay, it doesn't matter if they're in low health, you can just revive them and just keep going. it gets even worse, I think, when you combine the fact that later on in the game, when you get Speed Junction, whatever, my speech is horrible, and you get triple spells, you put on the Speed Junction, and you put on things like immunity to death, 100 SNS, 100 reflex, and then you put on things that prevent you from getting hurt from elemental attacks. It's like, okay, you can't win, you lose. Good day, sir. It's just, it's silly. And really, making Blue Magic a limit break is kind of lame, I think. Because it's like, why would you want to use that character, really? I mean, I can see why, in a way, because you don't have secondary abilities and they wanted you to focus on junctions, but there's just so many better limit breaks. I mean, you got Squall, who you have to use. You got Selm, you got Irving. His limit break's kinda cool. Kinda. Selfie, I don't really care for selfies. Renoas, don't really care for Renoas. So it's like half useful. I guess it's more useful if you use the Degenerator spell. But everything else is like, And I don't remember how White Wing worked. I think White Wing was lame in there. I can't remember. But speaking of unbalanced, some of the spells, like Meltdown. Okay, so I'm gonna give enemies 0 defense and max defense. That nothing has resistance to. That doesn't sound like it can't be broken at all. Or, hey, let's put in the spell that... What was it? I can't remember the spell. What was the spell, guys? Ura. Oh god, Ura. Hey, I'm good. I'm gonna use this limit break at full HP, regardless. Because I have Ura. Okay? That totally doesn't break the game at all. Of course, you get that, like, super late in the game, but, you know. Anything else? And really, the weapons... why would you get anyone's weapons except Squall? Because Squall's weapons are, like, the only one that matters at all. It's like, hey, you can get this weapon for, Cell, but why? It gives you, like, 6 more attack and 5 more accuracy, but it doesn't do anything else. And then you look at Squall, it's like, hey, let's get you Lionheart. So, you have all of your limit breaks. Like, I don't know. It's just silly. And another silly thing, I think, is Squall having perfect accuracy. It's like, why would you give anyone perfect accuracy at all? It's just silly. It's like, hey, you can blind him. It's not gonna matter, because he still has above 100% accuracy. Just really silly stuff. And there's some of the abilities, yes, like no encounters. That's very nice ability. Is when you want to go for the game quicker, it makes the game a lot boring. A lot boring. More boring. Grammar Nazis are gonna kill me, I swear. Because Is it the point of a RPG to fight random encounters? I mean, if you just cut out the random encounters, you just have going from point A to point B while fighting the boss and story. And it breaks the game more because levels actually matter. Well, they always matter, but the higher your level, the higher the enemy's level is. If you go for the game with no encounters, with like a level 7 squall, or level 10, you can get to the end of the game and everything's gonna be like level 10. While you have like max HP, max speed, all this silly stuff. It's like, it's not really that fun. I guess it can be fun if you like break game, but, And I do have to question why they made some of the stuff available only through Chocobo World. Was it Chocobo World? It was a Pocket Station game that you can only get in Japan. And then you get the game here in America without the Pocket Station game, and it's like, hey look, there's a ribbon, there's Darth Matter. I don't know if Darth Matter was in there, but there's all this cool stuff. You can level up your Chocobo in there, make him stronger when you summon him in the actual game, but you can't do that with an American version. Your Goku summon is really, really lame. And I don't even want to get into it with the final boss. Amicia is just a really, really lame boss. Like, hey, I'm gonna show up halfway through the game. You're not gonna know who I am. Oh, I was here the entire time. But you don't know that. I'm just gonna randomly show up. And people will randomly know that I am Amicia. And you have to question one thing in the game. They say that Amicia uses something that, well, what's his face? That doctor guy. I can't think of his name now, but Ogine. Yes, him. She uses a machine that Ogine made to go into the past. So, why didn't they just not make, like, stop the machine from even being made or something? Well, I guess it would have been made eventually by someone else or something, I don't know. Time stuff is just confusing. But really, it's like, she has, like, so little involvement in the story. Like, almost as much, if not less, than Sephiroth. Like, yes, she's there pretty much the entire time. She's... Spoilers! Don't listen if you don't want to be spoiled. But she's there controlling Igay, yeah. Igay doesn't really do much. She kills a president, okay. She tries to kill Balam Gargan. That's understandable. But outside of that, she takes control of Rinoa and releases Adel. Outside those three right there, there was like absolutely nothing else she did, like at all. I think I'm done talking about 8. I'm going on and on about 8. Let's go with the next game, which is Final Fantasy IX. Which I think, personally, again, it's just personal opinion. Don't get angry, or sad, or anything. I think that Final Fantasy IX is one of the better Final Fantasies in the series. That's my opinion. I think it's actually one of the best. Because the story is... It takes a little bit for the story to get going. But the story is really, really well done, I think. And the characters, I think, are really, really enjoyable. They're mostly likable. Mostly. I can't really say I care much for Freya, but Freya's okay. And the gameplay is, I think 9 has a pretty balanced gameplay for the most part. Of course, you can always break it. I've seen some crazy stuff like Limit Glove and Quina. Oh god, Limit Glove and Quina. 9,999 damage in disc 1. That's kind of crazy. Just a little. But overall, the game, it's a fun game. That's all I can really say. Like, some of the more annoying parts of the game, the battles are really, really slow compared to other Final Fantasy. Like, at max speed, the fights take a while because the ATB doesn't go up that fast at all. And with Sagan, whatever, I'm just gonna call him Sagan. For the most part, for most of the game, oh my goodness, I can't think. You're stealing with him, trying to get all of these nice goodies, and by the time he can actually attack, either the enemy is close to dead, or they are dead. So it's like, you're never really attacking with Sagan. And that's kind of the same, because he's pretty good at, fighting, really. Some of his abilities are crap. I mean, what's that? That ability's like, okay, I'm gonna make the enemy turn around. That doesn't really do a whole lot of good. And I'm almost done with this, holy, huh. But, what else was annoying? Oh yeah, the card game. Oh god, the card game. I have never understood nor liked the card game in 9. What was it called? Hexamaster or something like that. It doesn't help that it's really, really confusing to understand, but they force it on you in the game, and you have to win 2 fights. 2 matches, and you can go on with the story. And if you don't have cards for it or know what you're doing, you're not going to get on with the story. Which is kind of lame. And... oh, here's another thing. That's kind of a pet peeve, but, oh well, I guess. Excalibur 2. How is anyone supposed to know that even exists? There's nothing in the game that tells you about this weapon. You're not given any hint of where it is. And you have to get to the end of the game where it's at within 12 hours. If you're even 1 second over that, it disappears for good. Well, you could theoretically make the clock bleed over, but that would take years upon years upon years on a console to do, and it's not worth it. I know Garland the Great did a video on it. I don't remember which video, I think it's just an overall video about overflowing in FF9, but yeah, go check it out. He has a video of it. You might find a lot of his videos interesting. So we get to the gameplay, where most enemies tend to have 1 to 4 items steal. That's fine. But again, Scan is gonna be like spending most of his time stealing instead of attacking, and half the time you're not even gonna steal what you want to steal. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Fine. Why is database here? I hate when it splits it. And then you get... Let's talk about how characters play. The characters play like your typical class type characters. Scott's your thief. Steiner is your knight. Vivi is your black mage. Vivi, whatever. Which is fine, I like that. I don't remember if I played the Final Fantasy 5 and 6 before 9, but I thought it was neat. But again, some of these actually you do use quite a few of the abilities in that game. Or some characters, at least. Some of them you're never gonna use, like Steiner's Thunder Slash, because it's glitched. Or Garnet Summons. There we go. You're not gonna need Garnet Summons. They're unnecessary. I hate saying that because she's a summoner. Same with Aiko, but you really don't need them. They're kind of a waste of MP to use when you can just beat them down with everyone else. And by the time you get Aiko, is it Eiko or Aiko? I never could figure out how her name was spelled. But once you get her, Garnet's pretty much useless. You don't need Garnet anymore. Because Aiko has some of the better spells. She has Holy. That's all you need to know, Holy. Holy is OP. Oh no, I'm gonna have to do this part. But we get sub-characters. Let's speak characters. Yes, I said this already, I know, but Sagan. As I said, he is pretty much gonna steal the entire time. Which, you know, that's okay. That's okay. Maybe. So how is he with other abilities? Well, let's see. If you give him just daggers, I don't think daggers are as good as his thief swords. Because I don't think daggers have status effects. Oh, this is gonna take a bit. So there's that. Some of his abilities are nice later on, like if you get lucky. Well, Lucky 7 is kind of lame. But some abilities like, actually, I don't need to, do I? Some abilities like Thievery. Thievery makes stealing worth it, really. Of course, you have to steal like a crap ton to make Thievery good, but it's Monkey Homework Moonmorning Blade. And I need to get rid of Tsukiyomi. But most of his other skills you really don't need. Flee is always nice, as long as you give him something like Flee Gill or something that keeps you from losing money when running. That was something for Final Fantasy 9 I wish they, or a 4 that I wish they never kept, because it gets annoying. It really, really does. Especially when you get to some fights and it's like, ugh, I don't want to fight this Lamia. This Lamia hurts. And then you run away and you lose like 500 gil and you're like, my pockets, I need that. And we get a Garnet, who I already explained is really not that great. I mean, her Eidolons are okay, but you really don't need them. Whoops. Wait a minute. Whoops, I need to get rid of stuff, because stuff is not needed. There we go. Wait a minute. No, wait. Yarg. No, I didn't want to do that. And you come here. Now, Vivi. Vivi is really good. Like, when I played the game, all the times I played the game, I never really realized how good he was, because I used to like everyone else ever. Like, Amaran and Aiko and I think I used the Freya because I like my physical attacks, stuff that doesn't cost MP. Because I don't like to sit there using MP restoring items a lot. But the past few times I've played, I used the Vivi, and he's really strong. I never realized just how strong he is. It's like, hey, I have a Faraga. Boom! You're dead. Or, hey, I have Flare. Boom! You're taking like 5,000 damage to the face. But, of course, he has some spells that why would you ever use? Like Comet. Comet and Meteor, I don't know. They're like, why would you use something? Why would you use something that has a good, oh my goodness, I cannot speak. That has a good chance of, missing. Meteor and Comet, they miss way too much, plain and simply put. Everything else he has is, it's fine. I mean, all the elemental spells, that's fine. Things like death and silence and stuff, that's fine. But why would you ever use Comet and Meteor? And his focus command is really nice. Like, hey, I'm gonna get my magic up to 255, or not 255, 99. And I'm just gonna murder your face off. Yes, it stats until you get to 99. Which is a bit silly, but well, then we have Steiner, who, why would you never use Steiner? I mean, he's like the hardest hitting guy you have for like forever. And he gets better when you get things like, I don't know, Stock Break, Clem Hazard, Sock. Well, you don't really need Sock. But when you pair him with Vivi, that's when it gets even better. It's like, hey, you're weak to fire. Hey, Vivi, give me Fire Sword or Araga Sword. Of course, I would assume that you're using both of them, so, I don't know. And Amarant, oh my god, Amarant. That guy, he's really, really good. Like, once you get Chakra and No Mercy, that's all you ever need. I mean, I guess Ura is okay if you really, really need it, but Chakra and No Mercy, they're OP. Especially if you have a Amarant with, someone like, oh, I don't know, Bippy? That's a good example. Or Aiko? And then it's like, hey, you're running low on HP and you are slightly hurt. I had to think for a minute there. It's like, hey, how about I give you El Nicos? I give you O, HP, and MP at the same time. It's a little bit silly, I think. Just a little bit. Oh my goodness, this is gonna take a while. I did not realize this was gonna take a while. And then we get Quina. Oh, Quina. There's someone I don't use often. But really, Quina is not that bad if you can actually get the right skills. Like, get her Freeze, or Mustard Bomb, or what was that one ability? I can't think of it. There was a couple of abilities that were just really, really good. But really, for the most part, you're probably not gonna use her. Back Breath is okay, it's like, and stuff just folds. It's like, oh my god, I got breathed on. You got really, really stinky. And for the most part, bosses are actually generally challenging. Like, there's not really any boss that's super duper easy. Oh my goodness. Well, there's a couple that can be really, really easy, like, oh, the Earth Guardian, if you back breath him. And then he's like, oh, what do I do? I'm mini and blind and I can't do anything. But you're always gonna happen, like any RPG ever. Do that. And then we get some optional bosses, like Hades. Hades is kind of a jerk. Just a little. He's not really that bad of a fight, but he kind of hurt. But Ozma, freaking Ozma, man. What were they thinking making a boss that's completely dependent on RNG? It's very, very bad to make anything completely luck-based, and Ozma is completely luck-based for the most part. Either you kill it quickly and it does nothing to you, or you're gonna be in for a long fight because you're gonna get hit by Curse and Meteor, and oh my god, that's such a retarded combo. And Doomsday. Freaking Doomsday. But really, I like how the game handles crafting. When I was making Touhou Fantasy, I wanted to put in a crafting system that was just like Final Fantasy IX. Of course, this never happened until later, but that's another story. But I really like how they handled it. It's really balanced, I think. Of course, it gets annoying when you get to the end of the game and you can't make some stuff because the stuff you need you can't get anymore, and it's like, brrr, why you do this. But for the most part, I think it works out. I like how you learn abilities from the equipment instead of leveling up. Because leveling up and learning stuff is so outdated, I think, that it's refreshing to see things like learning stuff from equipment, learning stuff from leveling up other things like materia, or I don't know, FF8 didn't really do that very well, I think. It did okay, but it did it in a way where you just break the game doing so. And another thing about 7 real quick. I know I'm going back to 7. One of the things I did not like about 7 is how long it took to level up materia. When you get to the end of the game, there I am, okay, and you have like hardly any materia mastered, or even close to being mastered, some materia being prime example, I think something's a little bit wrong there. Even more so when all of the grinding for materia or AP is in the final dungeon. That's kind of crazy. And I kinda need you for... Did I? I feel like I forgot I did something. I don't know, I feel like I forgot to do something. I think it had to do with Amaris here. No. So yeah, there's that. Really, the game doesn't really pull that many jerk moments compared to 7 with like... Actually, never mind. 9 does kinda with finding items. Cause you have to search every little nook and cranny to find everything. And you can miss some things permanently if you don't get them the first time. Because there's a lot of places you cannot revisit at all. And it's kinda annoying. Wait a minute. I do need you. I need you because... Wait. Huh? Shadow Amarasu. If you have that on, and the Tsukiyomi, what am I thinking of? I lost my train of thought. Oh wait, I know what I'm thinking of, herp derp. We just make you Tsukiyomi. That's right. I'm losing my train of thought very quickly. Oh, Tsukiyomi. Come on. I need to hurry up because I need to stop the video and make sure that it's not corrupted or anything, because that would be terrible. So I will be right back.